Welcome to Beyond Premiere. My name is Christian, and Avatar: The Way of the Water is finally here.
It's been 84 years.
The film is said to be a huge success, with projections of making between $150 million to $170. There's no doubt that the film is going to be a big hit. After having the opportunity to see the film early and seeing the beautiful and stunning film that is Avatar: The Way of the Water, there's a lot to break down and discuss from the sequel, including the new characters, some beautiful creatures, as well as that epic and sad ending. Let's go back to Pandora. Here's Avatar: The Way of the Water breakdown. The film is centered around JakeSully and Neytiri, the growth of their relationship and now having a family. This motif of family is laid out throughout the film. Their kids are Neteyam, the eldest. We also have a flashback through time and we see a younger version of them and the celebration of him. His second son is Loak and has human qualities including 5 fingers, as well as Tuktirey or Tuk is the young child and the only daughter. The spider is also the adoptive son of JakeSully. He was born in Pandora and was the son of a marine. Is explained in the comic book, her mother, and later we discovered that twist of who is his father. We also have a new character, Gary, and this connects to her being the daughter of Dr. Grace Augustine, who they adopted as their own. She's an important part to the film and we discover why that is. There's a lot of mystery to the character and something that is going to be explored in Avatar 3. This is not the first time we see the characters, as we get to see them in the comics in Avatar: The High Ground, where we discover more about who the characters are. The film focuses on the events after the first film, how Jake now has a family. Now, of course, Jake's fear is that the Sky People will come. Similar to the comic, this is something that he will continue to think of and to stop anyone that comes near. This is what happens in the film. Now Jake is now a father and he's the Olo'ekten of the Amaticaya clan, and the film explores what it means for him to be a father, a leader protecting that around him, and there's more he wants to protect this time around. And later, learning the ways of the water. We soon discover that, of course, peace is not forever, and after 15 years, the RDA is back. We get the introduction of the villain that we're gonna see in the future films, this being the General Francis Ardmore, who we do not see a lot in the film, but of course, the return of Stephen Lang. They have a new location called the Bridgehead, and the location has a lot of things to it, including the industrial harbor, the industrial core, and so on. It's not later in the film that we discover the real reason why the RDA is back in Pandora. In the film, we discover that the RDA has a new program called the Recombinants, and this allowed to create avatars with memories of humans. This is how returning characters are back, this being Colonel Quaritch and Corporal Lyle. They remember their past life or their memories, but are these new avatars. His mission is different, to kill JakeSully, but also to learn the ways of the Na'vi. It was a really creative way to bring all characters. After all, it has been 15 years since the first film, going back to where he died. Now, 1 year has passed since the invasion of RDA and how they destroy everything around them. 1 year has passed, and it's Jake now his role to pretty much stop the RDA in whatever he can, and this is something that we see in those events. Jake this time around is different. He wants to protect his family, but it's more rude in that way. He's tough on his kids, specifically Loak, and the consequences of his decisions of Loak is seen at the end of the film. Now, during that year, we get to the comics, and that is something that explores those events. The kids go exploring, and the connection that Kiri has to nature. She's really a mystery character, and she's a normal teenager and was born out of mystery. It's explained that Norm is her dad, but this is just a rumor. After exploring, the kids are captured by the colonel and others, and a fight happens where Jake goes to rescue them. This is not before the colonel sees his old AMP and how nature has consumed him. After all, being back to those events and what his mission was something that I really enjoyed seeing. If you remember, he was killed by an arrow and he doesn't remember those events. He destroyed his own skull, and that was just more about how he's accepting his new nature. However, Jake and Neytiri are able to capture and rescue the kids, but Spider is captured. Because of this, they decide to leave, and this was a really part of the film. Jake wants to run instead of protecting, and this is the theme of the film that is going to be explored. They seek shelter to the Metkayina clan, where he meets the leader Tonowari and his wife Ronal. However, it's his wife who denies to have them in the clan. Due to them not being real Navi because of the 5 fingers. This is really important because later a fight happens between Anung and Loak because of the 5 fingers after they were joking about Kiri and his brother that decides to protect them. We also meet Tistira and Anung, his son and daughter, and they build a relationship. It's actually the love interest of Loak. Now, the next part of the film doesn't have huge plot points. Is the film covers a lot of the nature and the difference in the water. They also how to learn to ride these animals and find a way to protect those they love. The film explores the characters and their new adventures, and this scene in IMAX was beautiful. I did not never felt any boring part about all of this. It was so beautiful, and you make you feel that you're actually there. Now, there's new creatures are the tulkun, the skimwing, and the ilu. The film is centered around the tulkun, a creature that the RDA wants, and this is why they're back in Pandora. It's during an exploration underwater where Kiri connects to the other side. She has memories with her mother or a conversation who informs her that she's special, and Kiri asks who is her father, but she doesn't answer. This is a big question moving into the following films. She has an epilepsy that she has means that she can no longer connect to the three. However, it's later where she discovers she has powers and how. This is a big question that is not answered in the film. Throughout this in the film, there's actually an eclipse as well, which is never explained why that is. So if you know why, they never explain what happened with that eclipse. Now, this decision is that Jake decides to call Dr. Norm and Max. They're back. And Vernal is disrespected by this because she wants to help. But Neytiri allows her to use her traditions, and she is back and she's safe. We also get a conversation between her and Jake, which was great and it was beautiful, and how Kiri connects more to Awa, like a spoken word about to be said. Now, the mission of the RDA is to go hunt. They're hunting for the tulkun, a huge type of whale. Now, throughout the scene, we want to know why that is and what they're searching for, and this is where we discover why. Now, after the fight between Loak and Tisira, Jake makes him apologize, and they accept and take him to the third brother rock, where Tulkun is alone. He's about to fight a type of shark, and he's saved by this Tulkun. They build a relationship, and this scene between him and the Tulkun are beautiful in IMAX, and this is something that I just love about the film. But also why he's alone, and the belief that the Metkagina believe is that he is bad and that he destroyed his clan. However, we get soon why that is, and is that the RDA is hunting for this Tulkun, and that the reason that they're back is because the brain that they have, there's a liquid in their brain that there is being sold for $80 million, and this liquid is able to stop aging on Earth. So this is the reason why the RDA is back in Pandora. How they discovered this? Of course, it's because the biologists that they have on ship. So this was so unexpected. I was not expecting the reason that they're back is because of this, and that they're hurting these beautiful creatures. And how the creatures, we soon discover that they're really intelligent. They're able to communicate, they're able to show memories, they're able to explain, to sing, and we get more understanding on how these creatures are really important. And that was one of my favorite parts of the film. Now, when it's Loak that explains what happened with this Tulkun, they don't want him to go back. They don't want him to be near this Tulkun because he's a killer Tulkun or a killer whale. And this is something that I understood from when the leader is explaining this. However, after that we get a conversation between Loak, and this was a beautiful conversation when it's her that says like I see you, and it was so nice, and that loving interest between Tisirilla and him is nice. So when they go back, because of course the killer team or the RDA is hunting this Tulkun, and they have a GPS on them. And throughout this, of course, is the colonel who's able to now write a Navi. And it was nice to, in a way, it was nice to see where they go right, the Banshee. And, it's a colonel who has a Banshee now. And that was so beautiful as well. Just seeing back that location again. Not that the whole evil colonel. He's teaming up with the RDA hunting those Tulkun. And he has a way to pull out JakeSully from where he's hiding due to the Neteyam people not saying anything about where JakeSully is after there's 100 islands and they don't know where he is. However, using a tulkun, they're able to see what happened. Now, the RDA has a plan to put a GPS tracker on the tulkun that from Loak, he after all is his bro, and and that GPS tracker is what allows them to discover the kids and able to capture them. This is where we open to the third arc. I have to say that the third arc for me was when they're in the ship. But anyways, they're captured, and all the Neteyam people want to stop the RDA, and there's a big fight, and everyone is ready to fight. And of course, this fight is not going to go anywhere because they want Jake, in exchange for the kids. But the tulkun, the Loak tulkun, is able to jump from the ocean, or he's able to get out of the ocean and rise up and destroy part of the ship, allowing the Neteyam people and Jake to go and start a fight. This was awesome. The whole sequence was absolutely beautiful. And when that fight happens, everyone attacks the RDA, and this was a huge scene. The film is action, and it's Jake and Neytiri trying to save their kids and their family, trying to escape and save the kids. However, this is a sad part throughout this, where it's actually Neteyam that is shot, and this was so sad as he dies, and when trying to escape, the girls are captured. They're not able to escape either. So this was just more sad to Jake and Neytiri, and seeing their kid died, and this was a heartbreaking scene, and I was not really expecting this at all. I was expecting the kids to be all right, but as we get to see, this is not what happened. Now the fight is not over. They have to go back and rescue the girls, and the sadness of not able to properly focus on the death of Neteyam. This is where the epic third arc happens, in my opinion, where it's a shot similar to that of the Titanic. There's a ship going into the ocean. There's a lot of symbolism to that of Terminator. So it was epic. It was a beautiful sequence, and after all, it's just a family trying to save his daughter, and the fight between the Colonel and Jake was epic as well, because in this case, the Colonel is a Navi now. He's an avatar. Well, not technically an avatar. He's just a real Navi. Now the ship gets turned upside down, and all of them are underwater, and it's Kiri who saves them using the magic or her powers and able to connect to Iwa. Now the whole symbolism of being able to understand water, being able to understand that the dead, and we return to water, we were born in water. If you think about it, it was a beautiful symbolism in the film. Now after the fight is over and Spider betrays the team or the family as he goes to save his dad, of course, because his dad saved him as well. Jake wants to move, but he's a Neteyam now, and he's able to stay there. Now the last part of the film is a funeral. It's just sad due to the death of the son of Jake and Neytiri. And this was a really sad part of the film, because we're seeing the sadness of the characters, and the way that it's filmed is just beautiful. Because the film explores the acceptance of the thing around us, nature and life, as well as accepting death. It's this death that motivates Jake to stop running and going to stop the RDA. When they connect to the three under the water, they're able to see him, and how they accept that he's no longer gonna be there. After all, her energy is only borrowed. It was a beautiful, inspired film for accepting the nature of things, and I feel even though it was a sad death, it's the motivation to Jake to stop the RDA. So that's a film, epic film in my opinion. I loved it. I have the opportunity to see it in IMAX, which was beautiful. Now we can expect to Avatar 3 to explore Jake going against the RDA. We have information that the third film is going to explore more of the Alpha Centauri system. John Landau confirmed that the Avatar sequels will remain on Pandora and focus more on exploring its environments and cultures. It's intended that the plot to be able to stand alone, though it will form a part of the meta-narrative that extends from Avatar 2 to the fifth film if it's successful. Underwater elements will be a major aspect of Avatar 2 and 3, though they will also have some role in Avatar 4 and 5. In an interview published by the French newspaper 20 Minutes, James Cameron mentions that fire will play a role in Avatar 3, represented by the Ash people, suggesting volcanic activity. The film will show the Na'vi in a different light than the previous installments, in which humans are depicted negatively and the Na'vi appear in a very positive light. Avatar 3 will show the opposite. The film will also explore new worlds and continue the story of the main characters. But what are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Christian from BM Premiere, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye, one.